So, wanted to take my daughter on a fishing trip. It's one of my favorite memories as a kid that I used to go on with my dad. We go on fishing trips, catch a bunch of catfish. So, I wanted to recreate the experience for my daughter so she would have the same very treasured memories as I do. So we started with getting her Rapunzel rod and reel because she is Disney princess everything. We got her her very own unicorn chair. So she had a fold-out chair just like Daddy's. And as I'm unloading this stuff, thinking back on that trip, about the time we got everything settled in to where I was going to provide the same memory that I had as a kid is about when everything went wrong and I realized I might be ruining this whole thing for my own kid. Don't get me wrong, we prepared everything exactly the way we should have. My wife even packed my daughter a lunch complete with an ice pack and everything that goes with it. So she had snacks. Yikes. So she had snacks. She was ready to rock. I had everything picked up. We went to the store. We got some worms, which was fun for a 4-year-old. And we even invited my dad and brother along to go on the trip with us because obviously Dad is where I created those memories, right? Lots of things went wrong. Now that my pipe is lit, you know it's story time. So we get to the lake. We're gonna catch a fish. I really wanted her to catch a fish, or at least me to catch a fish, and her see me pull it out of the water so she could have that experience about what it's like and how exciting it is to have that. We didn't catch any fish that day. In fact, we found a good little, it was kind of a broken down boat ramp. So it was kind of like these sheets or slabs of cement. They were like right at the water's edge. Some parts were dry, but some parts weren't necessarily dry. And they kind of had this silty, really slimy mud buildup. So some parts were really slippery. No big deal. I get my chair set up. I get her chair set up. I get her snack set up. My dad gets his chair set up. He gets my brother's chair set up. Side story, my brother is special, so he does need a little bit of help. So we all get set up. I get her rig tied up. I get her worm on. I get my rig tied up. I get my worm on. I cast both baits out into the water, and we're just ready to sit and wait for a catfish. It's a good time. But a 4-year-old gets bored pretty quickly. And she got bored enough where she wanted to walk up to the grass or wherever it was that was kind of up the bank from us. And so she walks up, and within a few minutes I hear her shrieking, screaming in a panic. And so I just put the rods down. It's like, hey, whatever, take care of my daughter. I get over there, and she has gotten into fire ants. Now, only a couple of them bit her, but fire ants really, they stink. Man, their stings are intense, especially for a 4-year-old that hasn't experienced them before, so she's freaking out. And I go to help her, and I wind up kicking her little unicorn lawn chair into the lake. And so I'm trying to keep the thing from sinking to the bottom of the lake off this little boat ramp thing that we're set on. And I'm dropping stuff and sliding in this goofy, silty mess that's on the cement. And I get up to her, I pick her up, I'm like, hey. I get her calmed down, I sit her down on the tailgate of the pickup truck, and I'm like, hey, what can I do for you? She takes a deep breath and she goes, I need some medicine. I don't have medicine, but I have aerosol sunscreen. And when you're a creative dad and you care about your kid, you go, let me spray some sunscreen on it to help you feel better. And she said, please, Daddy, I need sunscreen. So I sprayed her little fire ant bites with, or stings, I don't actually know how they attack you, with sunscreen. And I said, does that feel better? I grabbed ice from the lunch that Mommy packed because my wife is amazing, and held the ice on her little insect bites for a little bit, and she said she felt better. She got herself back together. It's cool. We go back down, and she's like, Daddy, my chair's wet. I said, yeah, baby, I know. It fell in the water. So I put a towel on it. I was prepared enough to have brought a towel. And we get her going, and she gets bored again, and she wants wanting to sit in my lap. This whole time, I'm not keeping an eye on the rods and reels because I'm just trying to keep my 4-year-old satisfied through the whole thing. And then, I don't mean this to embarrass her, but she looks at me, she goes, Daddy, I'm going to have an accident. She just turned 4. And she's a big girl, but sometimes it's tough. So because she's sitting in my lap, she pees her pants, which also peed my pants. And so I said, hey, no sweat, it's okay, we got another change of clothes for you. And I'm just like, whatever, I've been covered in worse things than pee. So I get her changed up. She has a little potty that we brought with her, so she was able to relieve herself. But we get it all set up and we get it out there, and like the whole thing goes by, and it's probably, we spend maybe an hour and a half out there, and it's not, we didn't catch any fish. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, I've really blown it. I wanted to recreate the memory that I had when I was a kid of catching a fish with my dad, because that's a really special thing. And I was sitting there thinking, man, she's gonna hate fishing because of this whole excursion. And the reality of it is that the more we talked about it, and when we got home, she told mommy that she went fishing and that she had a Rapunzel fishing pole and that she got to go with daddy, and she's got her own unicorn chair. And I realized that fishing is kind of the same for kids as it is for me. Just getting to pack everything up and go sit by the water and hope to catch a fish is super exciting. And that memory that I wanted to recreate for my daughter that I thought I'd lost, it's actually there, because she talks about going fishing. Like, anytime we bring up fish, she goes, Daddy, I want to go fish again. And I was like, you kind of had the worst experience. Like, you got bit by fire ants, your chair nearly disappeared in the water, everything got wet, you peed your pants, you peed my pants, but none of that stuff is going to stick in her memory. She's not embarrassed about any of the things that went wrong, and those things kind of got to me that day. But the point is, take your kids out to do stuff, whether it's fishing or going hiking or anything like that. Go do stuff with your kids, because those memories, they've lasted since I was a toddler, and I'm creating them now with Penny, and soon with Lucy. She's just a itty bitty baby right now. But do those things with your kids, because that's the kind of stuff that does develop charming character. In fact, check out some of my other videos like Intro to Classic Man. I got this link right here. That'll tell you a little bit more about me. Thanks.